So this is my economics lab. I wanted to talk about pen pals, which is number 40 in our social studies book. Um, I remember having a pen pal when I was in the fourth grade and how interesting it was and exciting and actually engaging to write a letter to somebody and then get a letter back. And it was with a class that was in Massachusetts, so our whole class was exchanging letters. Um, I think that it's a good way for students to get to be connected to other people that are in your state or in your country or in other countries in different parts of the world. Um, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. Our book talks, well, email or snail mail. Um, I personally really like snail mail. It takes a little bit longer and it can be expensive. But it's a really nice way to get something that's actually tangible that the person actually wrote on and they wrote these words to you and you open it up, which is really, it's just a really nice feeling. You can also do this by email. It's obviously going to be cheaper, but you do need to establish a secure um, site to do this. The book recommends that you have things emailed to your school address for safety purposes. There is also there's several websites that can help you establish an email pen pal. And the one in our book is www.epals.com, and it's a website devoted to facilitating electronic pen pals for classroom projects. So I would recommend going through them if you're going to do an email thing. You just, in this day and age, you just have to be really careful with the internet, obviously. Another thing that the book talks about is you could do a link to the Peace Corps, and students can write to a Peace Corps volunteer, and obviously they live all over the world, so that could be another really interesting connection. And that you would just go to www.peacecorps.gov/WWS/ and that would connect you with somebody from the Peace Corps. So another thing that you're going to want to make sure you do with the Pen Pal project is make sure you have very specific goals about what the students will be learning and what they will be learning from each other. You can also monitor, you want to take them and you want to read them before you send them to make sure they're appropriate. And vice versa, when the mail comes back to you, you make sure that it's appropriate, or the teacher, that if you have a good relationship with the other teacher or school or wherever you're sending, you guys can make sure that everything is appropriate for each student and that you have set up specific guidelines and goals for what you want this exchange to be about, whether it's the economics or the history or geography. You could set this up for the whole year and go from one subject to the next along with your standards, whichever standards you need to be meeting for your grade level. I plan on doing this project with a friend of mine who is still living in Madrid, and she's teaching English there in one of the schools. And we would like to do this pen pal project with each other and for our students to have a nice exchange across the world. To tie it to economics, we are going to talk about the euro and the dollar, and you can get into the exchange rates there. You can talk about trade and the products of your town or city or your state or your country. The trade perhaps between your countries or between the states. So for example, in Spain, there is a huge, their biggest product is olives and olive oil. And actually, a lot of the Italian olive oil is made from Spanish olives. So these are things that your students can write back and forth to each other about. They can also learn a lot about just the products that are in their local grocery stores, and even the different types of stores that you may have. For example, here we have Walmart. Well, they don't have that in Spain. You buy your products. For example, you buy your food at the grocery store. There's a lot of different fruit and vegetable markets where you can get fresh fruit and vegetables. If you want to buy something like perfume and fingernail polish and toilet paper, well, you can get that in a grocery store, but a lot of these other products are sold in separate stores. The pharmacies are separate. There you don't have the pharmacy in the city market. So things like this, or you can have them exchange something like the McDonald's menu from Spain and the McDonald's menu from the United States is different just because of the different tastes that people have, and how things would be sold to a different country. So the different products, the trade. You could have the students also talk about the salaries that different jobs get and what types of jobs there are. And so obviously all of this can be tied into history, geography, what the geography, how it can change what the area is making and their product and how they live. So I would suggest actually doing a project like this for the entire year, and you can connect it to your standards for whatever grade you're in. Of course, it's tied to literacy because you're going to have your students writing. So I think that doing pen pals is a great idea, and I fully encourage people to do this. And if you need if anybody's interested in having a connection with Spain, I know quite a few people in Spain, so you can always contact me as well. And that's about it for Pen Pals. Bye!